welcome to another program of Laguna Woods Stories. We have a very special program for you today because we're going to show you a lot of the birds and other animals that live right here in Laguna Woods Village. Mm-hmm. And our guest with the camera is Ray LaBelle. And Ray, you've lived here in the village for how long?
6 years.
6 years. And before you were in the village, well, let's start. Where did you begin life's journey?
Oh, I was born in Connecticut and went to college in Connecticut and ended up 3 years in the Navy in Chicago, and then moved to Houston for a graduate degree and spent 43 years, about 40 years longer than I intended.
Okay. Now you brushed over the graduate degree bit, but you actually have a doctorate, I think.
Right, yeah, I have a PhD in virology.
In biology.
Yeah.
So.
From Baylor College of Medicine, right.
Okay, yeah. All right, and so you know something about how these animals function, probably. Did you have a specialty in your field of biology?
Well, viruses in the environment. I did some research on hepatitis in Galveston Bay.
Really?
And polio and other types of viruses.
Okay, and then your career took you a whole different direction, I think.
After a couple years in graduate school, my wife and I bought a business, and the business turned out to make a lot more money than being a research PhD. So after a couple years of postdoc my wife ran a motel, and I managed the real estate that we could buy with the income from the motel. Uh-huh. So I managed real estate for a while until the Houston recession came along.
Okay.
And then it came time for another career change, and I became a mainframe computer programmer.
Oh, wow.
And I did that for a while until my wife became successful enough at real estate that I joined her.
Okay. And what brought you to California?
I visited California about 30 years ago, and the climate was much better than that of the hot and humid Houston.
Oh my, yeah.
And I decided someday I'm going to move here, and when I decided to retire, I came out here. As a contract computer programmer, I had a couple of contracts in California, and my son went to Cal State Long Beach, and I saw the Leisure World in Seal Beach, and then discovered Laguna Woods, and bought down here while I was still living in Texas.
Now, tell us about your, it's a hobby, I guess. You've not worked as a professional photographer. But
no.
Tell us how you got started in photography.
Well, I got interested in photography as a kid, and as you know, film was expensive, so I shot 1 or 2 rolls a year. And then when I got married and had kids, and I had incentive for at least taking people photographs and some flower photography. But I had, an SLR at the time, very sophisticated Canon FTB, and I would always blow something, forget to adjust something. So the photographs weren't that great. But once I retired, I made it one of my avocations.
Now, this instrument lying in front of you here says Canon.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm...
Oh, you want me to move it?
But tell us about it.
Well, this is a wildlife type camera. It shoots 10 frames a second. This is a Canon a Canon 7D Mark II with a 100 to 400 millimeter lens on it.
All right.
Say 50 millimeters is about what the eye sees, and this is out to 400. So it's basically an 8x. So
it blows up the image so that if you're looking at a bird or something at some distance, it's bigger.
Right, it's bigger. And then when you get it in the computer, you can crop the photo in closer.
Now let's take a look at some of your pictures now. A lot of these pictures you took right here in Laguna Woods Village. Now, where do you live, and where did you shoot these?
Well, I live in Gate 11, and the first about dozen photos will be all in Gate 11. There is a stream that goes through the El Toro Water District area where I walk for exercise as well as photos. And so most of these photos are in that area.
Okay. Well, let's bring up the first photo, and we'll see it here on the screen. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Okay, this is a white-tailed kite. I'm assuming that's the female who's gotten supper for one of her adolescent babies. The plumage is different on the juvenile than it is on the
juvenile
adult.
looks about as big as the mom. But,
Yeah, the juvenile, still has learned to fly, but not learned to catch yet.
So are these birds that you can commonly see in this area?
The white-tailed kites are common in Laguna Woods, but sometimes they're hard to find. They change areas for their nest, and I only walk this specific area, so some years I don't see them because they've moved off to another place in Laguna Woods.
I see. Okay.
But last spring, they set up a nest in a tall pine off of Avenida del Sol in Gate 11.
That's a remarkable picture. You caught it in flight with the mouse being delivered to the
and
to the
this is
child.
at the top of a 80-foot tall tree, and I'm about 100 feet away from the tree, so that's probably a 120-foot shot.
Wow. Wow.
So you got to crop down.
Yeah. Well, what do we have next?
We have I'm again assuming the mom and just kind of getting together with her two adolescents at the top of the tree, and I caught a good pose of the mom showing off her wing.
Looks like an angel there.
Yeah, looks like an angel. And someday those babies will look like angels. But
Now, how long will it take the babies to become full grown? Is this just a few months?
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a white-tailed kite in flight.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. There's a nice orange eye there.
Yeah, and it must be hard getting the whole bird in the picture centered like that and all in focus and
Well,
action frozen.
when they're moving, I'm still learning how to keep up with the birds in flight. It's and you tend to take a lot of pictures before you find one that's good enough. All right, this is a different kind of hawk. This is a red-shouldered hawk who was kind enough to fly within about 30 feet of me.
Oh wow!
And I ended up with a pretty good shot, a pretty clear shot.
Yeah, you can see all the feathers and again the eyes in good focus, and you can almost hear the squawk.
The squawk, yeah. He's. Let's see. Okay, and this is a large bird. This is a blue heron. This is again in Gate 11, and there's a stream, Gate 11. He was flying down along the stream.
How big would he be? It's hard to tell from.
They stand about 3.5 feet tall.
Oh my! And you can see why they're called blue herons. The blue is very much identified.
In sunlight, they appear to be gray, but in the shade, they come out blue. He was in the shade.
Oh, interesting.
This is my best shot of a hummingbird. This is Allen's hummingbird. And he was posing, and so I had a lot of time to get the shot, just waiting for the sun to reflect off of him.
Look at
properly.
all the range of colors on that bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's posed, and I guess you thought he was posing because hummingbirds don't light for long, do they?
No. They tend to go back and forth, but they'll stay still for 15 seconds to a minute and then decide to go off again.
So you better be ready.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Now, this is a 3-shot sequence of the white-tailed kite adults exchanging a mouse. But I'm going to assume Dad's the hunter on top, and Mom's...
Unless you look carefully, you might not see that there's a mouse right there between the two.
And in the next shot, she swings down and grabs the mouse.
Okay, so we see that?
Yeah.
Oh, look
and
at that.
See her grabbing the mouse. And then in the next shot, you see that she's got the mouse.
Wow. That is amazing.
When I was taking these photos, I just saw 2 birds together in the sky. They were backlit, so it was hard to see.
And you didn't know what you had?
I didn't know what I had until I got in the computer.
A nice surprise. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a bird.
So this is a tiny lizard. It doesn't look like Godzilla. But if you get them in the right light, which I happened to that day, you can see they have a nice blue color and some yellow. Most people have seen the blue color, but I've never noticed the yellow before.
So how big would this guy be?
About 3 inches long.
Okay. Is this one of the guys we see scattered?
Yeah, it's a California western fence lizard.
Okay.
This is what I call my acrobatic snail. He's hanging on to a dead foliage by the
in
tip of his tail and
how in the
climbing
world
back
would
up.
the snail get up in the air connected to a twig like that?
Mm-hmm. And the next one is the same snail who's straightened out a little and climbing back up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this tiny bug here, which I didn't notice during
Oh.
taking of the photo.
Huh.
Don't know what kind of bug that is, but apparently he's not on the snail's diet. And this is a damselfly. They're also kind of tiny. That one's maybe 3 inches long, and they're so long, it's kind of hard to get the whole thing in focus, so I try to get the head in focus if I can.
Yeah. And the wing is
The wing is folded over its back.
over, but beautiful lattice work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not a bird at all.
Yeah, this is, I'll call him Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Occasionally I do see coyotes. I haven't seen many lately.
Now, the coyotes, do they feed on the birds, or are they able to catch them?
They actually eat a lot of plants. You look at the coyote poop you see around, and there's a fair amount of berries in them. But you'll also find fur. They like the rabbits. And they can get a bird. If they can get a bird, they'll eat a bird.
Yeah.
I have a friend with a photo of one with a quail in its mouth.
Well, they're really attractive animals, although I don't like to see them when I'm out walking my dog, and I do sometimes.
Right.
But
Yeah, and I was maybe 25 yards away from
they're fairly close.
him. Yeah, you're separated by the stream.
Yeah, okay.
And
So he appears to be aware of you.
Yeah, he thinks he's taking a stealthy look at me.
And you're taking a stealthy look back with your camera.
Yeah. And what's a coyote without a roadrunner? So that's the next photo.
Okay. Oh, you really do have a roadrunner. There it is.
Yeah. I've only seen him twice since I've been here in the last
Did
6
they say
years.
meep, meep?
Didn't hear a beep beep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And they really run fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, this one,
catching one still is a trick.
well, he was just standing still.
Yeah.
And the next one is the only time I've seen a rattlesnake here in Laguna
Oh,
Woods.
my goodness.
Although I've heard of them being found on patios. And I was a good 15 feet away when I made this picture.
Yeah. And now you have to take a lot of shots because the tongue goes in and out really
Right.
quick.
Yeah, yeah.
So you must have
Oh, I got a couple dozen photos, but this is the only presentable one.
the only one with his tongue out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I would be 15 feet. They can't strike that far. How far can they strike?
Probably 4 or 5 feet.
That
But
far,
if
so-
they're coiled up.
Yeah.
He was not coiled up.
I've yet to see a rattlesnake here at Laguna Woods. There are apparently not that many of them, but of course out there in the wilder part of the
Yeah.
of the community.
Well, all the pictures up to this point are Gate 11 pictures.
Ah, all of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
So
and including this one.
so be warned, Gate 11
Be warned.
people.
This was a hot August afternoon, and he appeared to be going down the hill to go to the stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably thirsty.
Yeah. I was walking along the Tara path, and I saw this log in the path, and then I noticed the log was moving.
Uh-oh. Fortunately, you didn't step on it.
Yeah, didn't step on him.
I guess that's where you're most likely to be in danger. But
Yeah, yeah.
of course, the rattlesnake is probably more afraid of you than you it. But
Yeah, they defend themselves. So don't force them to defend themselves.
yeah. Okay, so now you have some pictures taken elsewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my
I occasionally go to surfing contests.
goodness. Yeah.
This one was actually in 2015. This is Mick Fanning, and he won that contest. He puts a lot of dynamic action in his surfing. You can
I
see
guess
from the
so.
splash.
So he's not mid-wipe out there?
No, he's not. No, he's recovering well from that one. The next
that
one.
looks unrecoverable, actually.
No, he recovered.
And talk a little bit about the drops of water you were using a really high shutter speed to freeze the action just like that.
This was, I think, 1/2000th, 1/2500th of a second.
Wow.
And yeah, he's pretty far away from me. This lens comes in handy. Telephoto lens, yeah.
But problem with a telephoto lens, of course, is that it magnifies the motion as well. So you have to hold it really still, or you get
well. That's why you go at 1/2000th of a second, not just to freeze the action, and
freeze your motion.
Freeze my motion too, especially if you're holding the camera for a while.
All right.
The next one, do you think he would have fallen off? But no, he recovered from this one too.
No kidding. Wow.
I've got a couple of them with him facing straight down like that.
Wow. That's amazing.
And he came in second in that particular contest, but I think he won the worldwide competition that year. Medellin, Mendoza.
So this had to, he couldn't, of course, sustain a pose like that for,
No, that's a short time.
I mean, this would have to be really fast. So obviously a fast shutter speed to capture all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
And one more in the air,
Oh, yeah.
flying.
So.
And we can see all his sponsors.
Oh. Yeah. He wants to make sure the sponsors are seen. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And he got back down in the water and recovered.
Yeah, and he recovered fine.
Yeah.
So,
What else do you have?
Well, I belong to the Ocean Club. We go sailing twice a week. And this is a blue whale next to one of the whale watching boats.
Oh, I had noticed the boat, but not the whale. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Look at that.
this is a blue whale. That's his spout hole over there. And that boat is 65 feet long. And that whale is about, what we see of the whale is half the length of that boat. And we're probably only seeing a third to a half of the whale.
Wow. Wow. So great. Okay.
And you're not supposed to approach a whale that close, but this whale came to the boat.
Okay. So you're, it's okay if the whale comes to the boat, not if the boat goes to the whale.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Great. And next?
And the next one is a blue whale spouting.
Spouting.
Now those spout holes are huge. You could drop a basketball down them.
Is that right? It'd probably shoot up pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Drop the basketball and see if you could suspend it
Take
in
a
air.
basket or something. Yeah. Yeah. And they stay underwater for, what, 10 minutes or so?
10, 15 minutes they go down. And so when you're out looking at whales and you try to get a photo above water, if they go down, well, you hang around for 10 minutes or so and see where it comes up.
Yeah. And it won't be where it went down, probably.
Yeah, no, it won't.
Okay, next.
There are lots of dolphins out there. I don't have many good close-ups of dolphins. If you try to take a picture, intend to take a picture of one, you're going to get a picture of the tail. So you pretty much point at the water of a crowd and hope something comes up to get the face.
Okay, because they're just up and down.
Up and down, up and down. Yeah, that quick.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. All right, here. Sometimes there are sailboat races while we're out there, and they have these colorful spinnakers.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you go out, did you say, what, a couple of times a week?
Well, our captain goes out a couple times a week. I go out 3 or 4 times a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And these ocean pictures are over the last 5 years.
A good...
You don't get a good photo every time.
No. Oh, my goodness.
When we come back into harbor, sometimes there's sea lions, and this is a big cluster of them on the dock.
Uh-huh.
I got this picture only about a week ago.
I know that sometimes enough sea lions get on, if somebody has a boat parked in the bay, that sometimes enough sea lions will get on it to sink it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But,
I haven't seen that happen, but...
In Newport Beach, I know that
really?
happens, but yeah.
But the people tend to, on the back of their boats, if they've got a platform, they'll put these pails with water in them to keep the sea lions off, and it mostly works, but it doesn't always work, and because they get on there and make a mess.
Now, the sea lion is different from a seal in that it has the little ears, I understand.
It has ears, and it can stand on its 4 legs. Seals can't.
Oh, okay. So, are there seals in the harbor as well? Or?
No, I haven't seen any seals down. Sea lions. Although we've got Seal Beach up the way, there must have been seals here at one point.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
And the next one, this is another sea lion that family. It looks to me like they're having a discussion. And I guess you can tell which one's the male and which one's the female.
I wouldn't go there.
Well, the male has a big bump on his forehead.
Okay.
But I think it's his turn to babysit.
Okay. What's next? Oh my goodness.
We see pelicans in the harbor. This is one of my better photos of a pelican taken off from the water.
Wow.
And you wouldn't believe how far I was from that bird, maybe 200 feet.
Okay.
But it still came out really well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, so some of the pelicans have become kind of tame, but
Well, if they think you have fish on your boat, they'll get real tame.
yeah, they do follow the fishing boats in, don't they?
They follow the fishing boats. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of one sitting right next to a guy in his kayak fishing, hoping the kayaker gets lucky.
Remember, Ogden Nash wrote a little couplet, funny bird, the pelican, his beak can hold more than his pelican. I sure don't know how the hell he can.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one. That's pretty good, yeah.
I may have gotten that a little
I do have a photo a little later on here of a pelican swallowing a couple of tiny fish.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now this is at Crystal Cove, a pelican flying by about my height, above the water.
Nice.
One of my good pictures of a pelican in flight. And the next one will show a pelican at
Okay, next one.
at San Joaquin Wildlife Center. He's picked himself up a couple of small fish.
Okay. And yeah, that flexible pouch under his beak can hold quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, what they do is they get a bunch of water with fish in it and squeeze out the water.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sieve, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, next.
This is an osprey enjoying a fish meal, and he's got a tidbit of fish that just escaped from his beak.
Oh. Wow,
This is at the San Joaquin Wildlife Reserve.
And the osprey has probably caught the fish in the water, I suppose.
Right, yeah.
Do they dive underwater or just...
No, they I guess they've got good eyesight. They come down claws first, talons first, and grab the fish.
Right, out of shallow water.
Out of the shallow water, yeah.
Wow.
And the next one, he's being dive bombed by an avocet.
Oh.
I don't know, they don't have common food chain, and the osprey's not going to eat the avocet, but the avocet's trying to convince him to move on.
So he
just flew by rapidly.
And yelled at him or something?
Didn't hear a noise, but yeah, you can see the osprey's got the expression, what was that?
That's an amazing picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw it coming, so I timed it, and I managed to get it.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. There's a couple of grebes at the San Joaquin Wildlife Reserve. And that's here in Irvine, next to UC Irvine.
Yes, I've been there.
And it looks like he's poking her, but there's actually some distance between them. It's just a serendipitous shot.
But that eye is so red.
Mm-hmm.
That's remarkable. Interesting. Yeah.
And
I've never been lucky enough to see hardly any birds at the
Wildlife Center?
Wildlife Center, yeah.
It depends on the time of year. In the fall, they get a lot more populated. And in fact, I think it's the next shot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a vermilion flycatcher. They come here about mid-November.
It certainly is vermilion.
Yeah, and they sit on a branch and then rush off, get a fly, come back.
So they really survive by eating flies.
Yeah.
So you want to cultivate these.
Yeah,
these
and
birds.
I had enough pictures of him sitting still, so I thought I'd try to get one of him landing, and it took a couple dozen tries to get this photo because they're really fast. This is 1/6400th of a second.
Oh, wow. Wow. Huh. Beautiful.
Let's see, anything? Oh, and this is a tern that found himself a meal.
Yes, and these are these the birds that fly from pole to pole?
I don't know if this one is. Yeah, the terns. A type of tern does. Yeah, I don't know if this one does.
Wow.
So they're very photogenic kind of bird.
Yes, they are beautiful. Swept. You know, it looks like a modern aircraft.
And here's one of the nice pose I happened to catch.
Yeah.
Looking down for the next meal.
All right.
Let's see. And this is the last photo. This is a small falcon called an American kestrel. And they're small birds. He's maybe only 8 inches long. Mm-hmm. And this one happened to be close enough to me to get a really good photo, because usually I get photos of them at the top of a 100-foot tree, and so the photos don't turn out to be the best.
Very nice. Looks like he posed for you again right on the end of this.
Yeah, he was posing. He or she was posing.
Well, thanks so much for sharing with us, Ray. Ray LaBelle is the photographer extraordinaire that's been sharing pictures, many of which he took right here in Laguna Woods Village, and a few that he's taken at sea and in other places. And you are a remarkable photographer. Thanks for sharing with us.
All right, thank you for having me.